The following is a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Shelter Insurance Agent Grant Baker in Aurora, the Bank of Billings, Laborers Local 663, and Great Southern Bank. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol remind us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Go down to Miller High School, home of the Cardinals, and head coach Tamara Landers of the volleyball team, who's getting ready to make their second consecutive appearance in the Final Four in different classes, I might add, but Class 1 district, sectional, and quarterfinal champion Miller Lady Cardinals. And Coach Landers, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you for having us.
Coach, you guys, you're 33-3-1. You won 15 in a row. Obviously, you've gotten on a hot streak here. What's kind of contributed to that?
Well, the last part of our season is more of our conference and schools our size. So, that was kind of hopefully anticipated that we would close out the year on a hot streak because we're playing teams. In the beginning of the season, we tried to stack to get bigger schools so that we're more prepared, hopefully this year for our run at state. So, I kind of anticipated us ending on the winning streak. You never know, though, when you hit postseason.
You guys, you're here at the end of the season. You're 36, 37 matches into it. Are you relatively healthy at this point?
I don't even want to say, but yes, we are. Right now, we are fairly healthy. We do have 4 seniors, so they have some old lady pains, I think. But other than that, I think we're good.
Now, you guys, you make your way up. Play Friday at 5 p.m. You've got Santa Fe. What do you know about the Santa Fe team?
Right now they're undefeated. So, I know they've played some games. They have one pretty good hitter, and, talking to some people and watching some film, they're pretty solid. I'm just hoping that our overall ability to cover the floor and take care of the ball will help us get past them.
As we go here to some of the young ladies you've got 4 seniors alongside. Here's part of our Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athletes of the Week. And we'll start off there with Allie Mitchell, who switched chairs on me thinking that she would confuse me where I wouldn't remember her name. But Allie, hey, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Allie, tell us a little bit about what position you play and what your roles and responsibilities are.
Okay, well, I'm the setter. I've been the setter all 4 years, even through junior high with these girls. So I've learned to run the offense. I learned my hitters' capabilities, and I just try to use each and every one of them to our advantage to help us win games.
As you looked at this schedule coming in, knowing that you were dropping down to Class 1, were there matches that you were particularly looking forward to? Maybe it's a rivalry match. Maybe it's somebody that got you a year ago, or I think everybody knows everybody's going to answer this question the same probably, but who are those matches you were looking forward to coming in?
I was kind of hoping we were going to get to play Lesterville again. They took us out our sophomore year at sectionals, and I really wanted to play them, but they got kicked out, so I guess we don't get to do that. But every single game since it's our senior year, I've been looking forward to every single one, playing with my sisters. I love them to death. So just every game, just making each moment last. That's what I've been looking forward to.
And you've got a few moments ahead of you here coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
What are you doing to kind of get prepared mentally and physically for this week? Now you've been there. So does that help knowing that you were there a year ago? Does that really help kind of ease your mind, so to speak, going into this weekend?
Yes, we know how to prepare ourselves better. We know what worked for us last year. We kind of know the time frames, how it's going to look. It's not as like, this is our only chance to do this. Now we have our second chance or a redemption round. So we kind of know what we're looking for going into it. But we know we got to keep together as a team, because that's how we're going to push through to get that championship, hopefully. But yeah, I think we're prepared.
Very good. And once again, we're visiting with Miller Lady Cardinals volleyball team, seniors on the team. And next to Allie is Kaylee Helton. Kaylee, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What position do you play and what are your roles and responsibilities?
I am an outside hitter and I also play left back defense. So every game I have to kill the ball, I have to block, and I have to dig.
So does it depend on where you're at on the floor, or once the ball's in the air, you can go to where you need to be?
Yep. Wherever. I just know wherever the ball's at, I know where to be.
All right, let's say the ball's in the air on the other side of the net. What do you think? What are you having to pay attention to that's going to determine what you're going to do? What are you looking for?
I have to look and make sure it's a good pass, so I know if the set is going to be quicker or slower, so that can line the block up good. Or if I'm back row, I need to know how fast the ball is going to be set out there, so I need to know how fast that I need to get to my spot defensively.
All right, very good. Any matches you were looking particularly forward to coming into this season?
Definitely Lesterville. I think we were all hoping that we would end up facing Lesterville again, but the conference games are always good because we have the rivalries in our conference.
Yeah.
So it's always good to go in knowing that we can win. And yeah.
All right. Well, Kaylee, once again, on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, congratulations to you and your teammates. And next up, we have Claudia Hadlock.
Hello.
How are you, Claudia?
I'm good.
And I went to elementary school with your uncle.
Yes.
Claudia, tell us a little bit about yourself. What position do you play and what are your roles?
Okay, so I kind of play the same as Kaylee. I play left back, and I play outside and right side. So when one of our other girls is front row, I'll play right side. But when it's just me front row, me and Emmy, our other middle, I'll play outside. So I just kind of do a little bit of everything, just try to keep the team together. I kind of like to be hype man, be the hype man. Someone gets a kill, I'm like shoving them, like, let's go, like stuff like that. I just like to keep the team intense because the more you're intense, the better chance you have of winning the game. So intensity is one of those big things I like to carry on my back. So.
Well, and how you mentioned you kind of do the same thing as Kaylee, I believe, but how do you know who's going where? I mean, are there like pre-serve signals? I mean, what goes on the floor that will determine where you're going to go, or is it maybe when the ball's already in the air?
Like from the other team or like on my
On your team? I mean, how do you know where you're going?
Okay, so it depends on what the other team's doing too, but like we watch film a whole lot. I watch film, I break down film, and we talk a lot on our side of the floor. So like when we played Midway, they had a really good hitter. We would say, hey, 11's right there, right there, right there, right there. So like you just know where she's at all times. So then it helps you on defense, where you need to be. Offense, same thing. You just, I don't know. It's just like we played so long, you just have to know where you're going. But at this point, we're seniors and
Read
playing
each other's minds.
we flow really well. So
Very good. Well, Claudia, also on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, congratulations. And our last victim, we've got Allie Mitchell. Allie, how are you?
Oh, Ashton Kingsley.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
It's
fine.
Allie got me. She switched, and I thought I was on
I'm
top
sorry.
of it.
It's always me.
Ashton Kingsley, I am so sorry, but
No, you're fine.
Ashton, tell us a little bit about what position you play and what your roles are.
Okay, so I am a middle hitter / middle blocker. I'd say my main role is definitely blocking. I do hit some, but we have a lot of really talented hitters on our team. And so from the get-go, I pretty much realized that what they needed from me was a good blocker. And so that's what I focused on. So that's pretty much what I try to do, is to be the best blocker I can be.
So the ball's in the air on the other side of the net. What are you watching to determine where you're going to go?
It kind of depends. The setter, sometimes they have tells as to who they're going to set the ball to. So I have to pay attention to them and see if I can figure out where the ball's going before she sets it. And then I have to keep track of like who their best hitter is on the floor and make sure I know where she is. And then I just have to make sure that I track the ball and keep my eyes on it instead of watching the players. And I have to line up to make sure that my defense knows where they need to be behind me.
And ladies, this is kind of for all of you, but what are some moments, and and maybe funny moments, maybe on the court moments where, or maybe you beat someone this year that, a game that you look back on, or maybe it's a district championship or a sectional or a quarterfinal. What are some of those moments that are really going to stand out to you as seniors that you're not going to forget?
I think the locker room moments are probably
The
It's just like,
traditions.
yeah, we have like a lot of traditions, and like when we go down the locker room, we listen to music, we get hyped up, and then we do our like little pre-game ritual, so to say. I don't know.
Yeah, I call it a ritual.
But those are probably the most fun moments. And then just like the quarterfinal game we all played extremely well. Like all 6 girls were on fire. And then the people who come off the bench. So all 8 of us, all 9 of us were on fire. And it's like really rare to get that in a volleyball game. One person could be off, but like all 6 of us, all 8 of us were on. And it was just really special to have that. So
I think another thing is that I'm gonna always look back on like how much adrenaline I have during those games, because I don't think I'll ever get that again after high school.
the adrenaline
So,
rush is
yeah.
unreal.
It's crazy.
So what's on your iPods? What are you guys listening to?
Hey, we listen to a variety. Let's just say that. We like country music though.
Oh, yeah.
We do like country music.
What's the one we listen
Would
to?
you go with
Would
me?
you go
Would
with
you go
me?
with me?
That's a favorite.
That's
We
a
all
good
sing
one.
that one.
Neon Moon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, I'll try and pull that up here. But ladies, hey, once again, just on behalf of Chevy Dealers of the Ozark, congratulations. And I know your work's not done. Go up there and bring back the biggest trophy, and we'll get you guys on again next week. Is that all right?
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
All right, Coach Landers, as you look here heading into this, kind of what's the remainder of the week look like? What are you guys going to be focusing on? Obviously, maybe some film and really trying to stay healthy and take care of your bodies.
Yeah, we're gonna, we're just kind of we've been doing it kind of like all year long, treating it kind of like a business. That game's done, move on to the next one. So, we've kind of got to prepare for anybody that we might play. So we basically got 3 teams to prepare for, but mainly we just got to keep playing our game. We feel like that if we play our best, that's all we can do. And we're not going to let the other team dictate. So we want to be the ones dictating what's going to happen. So, we'll practice tonight, we'll practice tomorrow, then we'll leave Thursday morning, and then we'll practice up at Cape on Thursday, and then go Friday, practice on Friday up there. And then hopefully at 6:00, punch our ticket to the state championship game.
Outstanding. Well, I was trying to look up that song while you were. I thought I was going to give you guys an outro, but I can't find it. Ladies, once again, congratulations, and Coach, thanks so much for setting this up, and this worked out well, and hopefully we'll get to we'll visit with you next week. Anyway, you're going to be at least finished in the top 4. Now, nobody gets to play this long, so
Nope. That's what we keep saying. We don't get to play this long, but this year we want to go for the big one.
You bet.
So,
hey, good luck, Coach Landers. Thanks so much.
thank you.
you.
Hey, you're listening to the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Keep it right here. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Shelter Insurance Agent Grant Baker in Aurora, Doak Propane, Great Southern Bank, the Bank of Billings, and as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Going out to Stratford, Missouri, to the home of Stratford Lady Indians and their head volleyball coach, Ashley Boo. Coach Boo, hey, thanks for taking the time today.
Thank you for having me, Guy. I appreciate it. Excited to be here.
You bet. Well, Coach, you guys play on Thursday in the Final Four, but let's take us through that run of districts there with the win over Forsyth after districts, and then you get a very good Springfield Catholic team who you had lost to earlier in the season. Kind of take us through that run through the quarterfinals.
This time of year is such an exciting time of the year. And I tell our kids, once you make it to postseason, to district time, it's anybody's game. I've seen it many times again as a player, as a coach, in the game of volleyball especially. So, we went into it just knowing what we are capable of and what it takes for us to, play at a high level. And, our kids, they were so determined. I've had many groups over the years who've, been fortunate to make it into postseason play. And these kids, they wanted to be a part of that and continue that tradition. So they worked super hard. And, that game against Forsyth, we had played them earlier in the season, but I know they had gotten better as the year kind of went on. And so it was kind of, I know they ended up second in our conference. We're in conference with them normally, and they ended up second. So I knew it was going to be a battle, and our kids came and showed up and played hard. And then, of course, Springfield Catholic, we lost to them at home in regular season, but played them in our tournament and actually beat them. So we were 1-1. And so they are a tough group, and they bring so much passion to the game that I knew our kids had to, match that or exceed it in order for us to be successful. And I really felt like our kids stepped up to that challenge. So fun times.
As you look back on this season, was there ever a point during the season where you felt like you turned the corner, where you thought, hey, we may be able to make a run here and get into a state Final Four type run?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming into the year, I knew we had the parts. It was just about how well they worked together. And, our kids, this one thing this group brought this year is just not even the volleyball awareness and skills out in the court, but it's more about the teamwork. They really worked well together. They understood each other. They accepted their roles, which is huge. And it's, for a team to be successful. So, but the main turning point I really felt like was our home tournament when we had lost to Catholic on Thursday. We turned around, played a tough Eldo team, beat them to get to the finals, and then ended up beating Catholic in our finals to win our tournament. And I really felt like, oh gosh, like this team, when they are on, they are on. And I knew that, they were capable of great things if they just put their mind to it. So it was fun to see that glimmer of hope of, what we could, if we really wanted this to happen and things fell our way, it could. So it was exciting.
Yeah. Well, and just the overall health, of volleyball
Yes.
in this area, it's gotten to be much more of a healthier sport, much more, it used to be kind of controlled by, the Winonas had great runs,
Yes.
and then you're in St. Louis or St. Teresa's Academy, something like that. And now you look at the level of success that Stratford Lady Indians are having. You look at Rogersville. You mentioned El Dorado Springs already. They had a
Yes.
tremendous season as well. What can you kind of point at that maybe is part of the reason for volleyball becoming so successful here and just so many tremendous athletes?
It's just a growing sport. And I feel like it's people are just becoming more aware of it. It's not something you go out and do when you're younger. You can go outside and play, t-ball, basketball, but volleyball is something that's kind of growing in this area. And I feel like as teams start to gain success, people notice it and they want to be a part of that. I know, specifically at Stratford, our girls athletics, boys too, but girls in the last few years it's just become a thing of what you do, and you want to be a part of that no matter what it is. And so I feel like just overall volleyball, the sport of volleyball in our area, that's becoming kind of a thing to do, and kids want to be a part of that and be, have some fun and play something that maybe they wouldn't have played before.
Again, we're visiting with head Stratford Lady Indians volleyball coach Ashley Boo. This segment brought to you by Labor's Local 663, who remind us to drive carefully in work zones. But Coach, now you go Thursday. I mean, you may be going up on Wednesday, but you've got a Notre Dame to Scion team. What do you know about them, and what are you going to have to do to come out on top there?
They have played, we look at similar opponents often whenever we go into these situations of seeing teams we wouldn't normally see. And they played Eldo earlier in the year, and Eldo ended up beating them. And then we've, kind of looked at some other teams they played. I feel like, I really believe no matter our opponent, I feel like if our kids are in the zone and they're working together and they're being disciplined out there, that they can, compete with a lot of teams out there. So I know we're gonna have to work hard because this time of year, everybody is hungry, for wins and, making it to that championship game. So we've really this week been just focusing on things that we need to get better at in order for our game to keep improving. And then, briefly touching on what they're going to bring Thursday. So it's going to be a tough battle, but I know our kids are up for it for sure.
Yeah. As you look back at the team you had 2 years ago that went 31-4, kind of compare and contrast that group to this group. This group's obviously had tremendous, they haven't even lost 4 yet, but talk about those two groups and compare and contrast. You may have some of the members of this group may have been on that group.
Yeah. So actually 3 of those kids returned to this team. All of them are in completely different roles than what they were on that team 2 years ago. So Emma Mullings, our little libero this year, she was a DS, just a DS 3 rotations for us for that team 2 years ago. Abby Chadwell, was just a setter, but she plays 6 rotations now and is a 5-1 setter for us. And then Krista Duffel, our middle, she played right side for us on that team. So those kids kind of got a taste of that success. And, even last year, they were like, Coach Boo, we want to make it to state. We want to go all the way. We want to do better than what we did, that year. And so I'm like, I know we got to keep working, girls. But, our offense this year, comparing the two teams, our offense this year, our middles are, we go to them quite a bit. They're a big part of our offense, where 2 years ago we had outside hitters that we went to quite a bit. So it's just different dynamics. I feel like our ball control is different than what it was a couple years ago. We had more of a power attacking, kind of offense. And this time it's more, our ball control has just improved a ton, and a lot of placement and using, looking at the court and utilizing, more than just hard hitting attacks. So, they're both great kids. I've been lucky. We have great kids here at Stratford. I believe it in my heart. And, they're just fun to work with. And like I said, they got a taste of that success. And I know that they want to continue, using that and getting better and better.
We guys tip it up at a Thursday at 2 p.m. What are you doing between now and then? When are you leaving and heading up there? And do you get any practice time on the floor up there?
Well, so we'll practice today here. We actually practice tomorrow, and then we'll take off tomorrow early morning to head that way. And we get on the court, Thursday morning for a serve and pass before our game on Thursday afternoon. So with 5 classes now, it's a little bit different setup than we went a few years ago. So the court wasn't available Wednesday, but our goals right now from now until Thursday at 2 p.m. is just to keep getting better. But then most importantly, just to enjoy the experience, because there's so many people that would love to be, in the same spot we are. So we're very grateful for that opportunity. And I know that my kids are going to rally to the occasion. I'm excited.
You bet. Well, Coach Boo, greatly appreciate you being generous with your time here. Good luck, and bring back the biggest trophy, and we'll have you and the kids on next week as well.
All right. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support.
You bet. Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Keep it right here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Brought to you by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Shelter Insurance, Grant Baker in Aurora, Labor's Local 663, Great Southern Bank, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, and the Bank of Billings. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Going back down to South Iron High School for our second time this year, following a Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks Athlete of the Week segment. But South Iron Lady Panthers volleyball head coach Megan Williams joins us here. And Coach Williams, congratulations on the Final Four appearance.
Thank you so much. It's been a crazy week around here, but I'm super, super proud of the girls, and we're all riding pretty high right now. We're all pretty excited.
So you get district championship, then you come out, you face Winona in the sectionals, and then you've got Blue Eye, and you shut Blue Eye out 3-0. Kind of tell us about those two matches.
Yeah, we knew Winona was going to be a battle in our sectional game, and they had beaten us in 3 during regular season play, and my girls did not play well, and Winona played really, really well that game. So we watched a lot of film the day before that sectional match, and had a game plan, made a couple adjustments, and then my girls came out ready to play. We talked about when we played them regular season, we didn't play our best game, and we knew that. And so it kind of got the girls fired up, and ended up beating them in 4, which was awesome. We did a lot of things well. We played clean volleyball, and we played our game, which is something that I've been talking about all year long. And they played hard. All credit to Winona. Winona's had a really great volleyball team this year. And then against Blue Eye, same thing. We got some film on them, watched some film, and had a game plan together after watching that film, and my girls executed and played really well against a strong Blue Eye team. A lot of very, very strong athletes on that team, and we came out and played hard and did what we needed to do.
Yeah, you mentioned Blue Eye. Blue Eye's familiar to this area. Very athletic team. They've got kids that, they share kids in multiple sports with cross country, basketball, and obviously volleyball. Well, now you've got on your side of the bracket, you have a Gideon, who you are also familiar with. You played them early in the year, back in mid-September. Tell us what you know about Gideon and what you're going to have to do to come out on top.
Yeah, Gideon, another really, really strong team. They've got some good attackers, and then they've got some really good defense. They're a pretty scrappy team. When we played them at SEMO in the Dig for Life tournament in September, as you mentioned, it was another game we probably did not play our best. I watched it on film 2 nights ago, and we made a lot of hitting errors. I think we made 20 hitting errors. So you're not going to beat any team whenever you have that many hitting errors. So I think my girls know that we didn't play our best, and but we're still going to have to play hard to beat them. We're going to have to get some blocks going and then be all-out attackers. They've got some good defense, as I mentioned. So we have a pretty solid game plan, and as long as we play our game, I like our chances against them.
And Coach, yeah, this is the first. You guys are going to participate in the Final Four on Friday. What are you doing kind of between now and then? Are you watching a lot of film? And what's the health status? I know it's late in the season. A lot of times you get kids that maybe get run down a little bit or tweak an ankle or something like that. But overall, talk about your health and then what you're going to be doing between now and November 5th.
Yeah, absolutely. What's good is what kind of helps us out is a lot of these girls have been in this position for in basketball. So they kind of know, what this week entails and how important it is to take care of your body. But we're going to watch film today and then do my practice tomorrow, and then a pretty intense practice Wednesday, and then we'll do a light practice at the Show Me Center on Thursday. So I'm just going to make sure I tell my girls we need lots of rest, lots of sleep, eating good food, because like you mentioned, this point in the season, it's all about taking care of your body and, not wanting any injuries at this point. So I'm going to harp on them a lot today whenever we watch film to make sure that they're taking care of themselves this week, because we had a big week last week. We had 4 big games in 6 days. So we need lots of rest this week.
So you guys headed down there on Thursday then?
Yep, we're going to leave Thursday around noon. We're going to have a pep rally and stuff here, and then we'll head out.
Very good. So how long does it take you? It's not just maybe an hour or two over there?
Yeah, it's right at 2 hours.
Very good. Very good. Well, again, we're visiting with Coach Megan Williams from South Iron Lady Panthers volleyball, 26-8-1 as you prepare to take on Gideon, and that will go up at 6 o'clock on Friday there at the Show Me Center in Cape Girardeau. Coach, as always, we appreciate you being generous with your time, and best of luck, and hopefully we'll get to visit on Saturday or Sunday. You've got the biggest trophy.
I hope so. That's our goal. So thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time out of your day to talk with me.
Hey, you as well. Couldn't do it without you, Coach. You're listening to and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, and keep it right here. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, the Bank of Billings, Shelter Insurance Agent Grant Baker in Aurora. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Going to go down to the southwest part of the state, and we welcome Carthage Tigers head football coach John Guidey to the show. Coach, hey, thanks so much for your time today.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Coach, off to a very great start here as we head into districts. You're 9-0. You're 41-5 over the past 4 seasons, but this year maybe one of your better seasons that you've had in a decade. And really talk about this team and what makes them special.
Well, I think that probably starts with our senior class. It's a really good group of kids. They're fun to be around. They're fun to coach. They have a lot of chemistry. They show up every single day ready to work with great attitudes, and they're good. They're good football players. I mean, in addition to that, they can play a little bit. So it's been really fun this year. Excuse me.
As you look back 2 years ago, coming out of that state championship game and the runs that you've had, kind of compare and contrast this team to that team of 2 years ago. You mentioned that senior class. A lot of those were, sophomores, that season. You've got Luke Gall, who I think was part of that run, who's just a made some great plays in that state championship game. Kind of compare and contrast those two teams.
Yeah, the 2019 team, it was a very strong class as well. And, we had a lot of, really good experienced players that year. You talk about kids like Patrick Carlton. You talk about kids like Cale Schrader, Alex Martini, Oscar Campa. The list goes on with some really good football players that have been in the program for a long time and have a lot of games underneath them. This year's team probably not as experienced, to be honest. We had a lot of new faces, had to fill in a lot of different spots. New quarterback, of course, with Caden Cabance, and you never know what you're going to get when you start with a new quarterback from year in and year out. Our offensive line, we had 2 guys back from a year ago, so we have 3 new starters up front. We have broke in a new tight end as well, so just a lot of new faces, but kids who, like I mentioned, that they're good football players. I don't know if we have a lot of stars, but they're all really good, and the chemistry is good. And if you compare that to 2019, there's some similarities, but I think the 19 team had a lot of experience coming into that year.
The thing that impresses me when I watch your team, on film, the offensive line play is tremendous. The blocking, and had an opportunity to visit with Luke Gall a week ago, and he mentioned that. They also said the receivers, they block so well downfield, where he doesn't feel like he's got to make a lot of guys miss. What is it about that group there, the offensive line and the receivers blocking downfield? It's been really special all year.
Yeah, the offensive line, they're like every team's offensive line. They're their own identity, and they take it pretty seriously. They start way back in March, getting together and working on some footwork and things like that, and they just have developed into a really cohesive group and very smart. Last year we had 1 or 2 kids that would communicate the front and communicate blocking schemes. This year, all 5 of them can do that. And I think that goes a long way, because in this conference, you're going to see everything, every front ever invented, and stunts and blitzes out of those fronts. And for those guys to be able to communicate that, recognize it, and then be able to execute it, that says a lot about them. And I would include our tight end, Tyler Willis, in that group too, because he's just as important in that group.
As you mentioned the COC, the conference, and the different fronts that you see, it's got to be great preparation to play in what I believe is among the top 2 or 3 best conferences in the state, no matter the level, with regards to not only football, but in every sport, but in football particularly. That's got to go a long way to prepare you for these state runs, or prepare whoever comes out of that conference.
Yeah, the COC is just it's a really good football conference, very strong teams, a lot of great football players, and a lot of great coaches. Every week you better show up and be prepared, or even from the top to the bottom, even those bottom tier teams, there's never a gimme, there's never a week off. You have to prepare just like you do every week, and be able to show up and execute the game plan.
As you head in here to your first round of districts here in the quarterfinals of district play, you've got a Willard team who just a month ago you handled pretty easy. Any dangers of maybe kids looking past this contest? You mentioned, and they've got a good coach there as well. What's the preparation like here as you head into that Willard Tigers game?
Well, hopefully it's just much of the same, to be honest. We played them, I want to say mid-season, maybe week 6, and looming the next week was a big Joplin game. So it's kind of a similar situation, with the district championship next week. And so, luckily, like I mentioned, these kids are really good. They're really smart. They're really experienced. And I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think they're going to show up for practice like they always do, with one thing on their mind, and that is getting better every single day. And hopefully it carries over into the game.
Outstanding. Going into this game outside of you, I know it's week 11 here in high school football. So people, folks have got their bumps and bruises, but are you guys relatively healthy going into this game?
Yeah, I think so. What the biggest thing was just get to the bye week. And when you get to the bye week, you can take it a little bit easier and give them a couple of days off. We gave them Monday off. We gave them Friday off, and we hit it pretty hard Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But I think overall we're healthy. Like you said, we're maybe just a little bit banged up, but this week has been really good for them.
Outstanding. Well, hey, Coach, I really appreciate you being generous with your time here and jumping on the Missouri Sports Network. And hopefully, as this run continues for you, we'll get to visit down the line again. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you. Same.
You bet. Coach John Gotti, Carthage head football coach here on the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, KICK 92.3, your home of the Royals. Shelter Insurance Agent Grant Baker in Aurora, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Great Southern Bank, Doak Propane, and the Bank of Billings. We go to Nixa High School, and welcome to the show, second-year Nixa head coach John Perry, 8-2 on the season. Coach Perry, thanks for your time today.
Man, thank you for having me on.
You bet, Coach. Just you keep every year you do something new there at Nixa High School. You kind of just keep raising the bar. Talk about this season and what it's been like for the Eagles.
You know what? It's been great. I was just telling somebody today. It's amazing how I think this is year 28 for me, and man, it is as fun and as great as year one was. Our guys are awesome. We've had adversity. Week 2, we're at Joplin and we lose Ramon Green in the first quarter. But to watch that team continue to fight, because I've been on teams where, when your star goes down, everybody's head drops, and before you know it, you're not very good and you're not playing very hard. And, to watch that team that night fight to a 28-25 loss I was really proud of them, and then, we go through and win, several in a row, and then we bounce up on Carthage, and sometimes I heard Ted Lasso say this the other night, right? Sometimes you win when you lose, and sometimes you lose when you win. And that's athletics, like that night that did not go our way, and not to make an excuse, they are really good. If there's a better team in the state of Missouri, I don't want to see them, that's for sure, because they are solid. They're well coached. They play hard. They're athletic where they need to be athletic. Now I don't think they're 49-14 better, but I do think they're better, and they got the best of us. But then, that's adversity. How do you handle that? How does your kids, how does your coaching staff, how does your team? And, I thought they handled it well. Adversity is part of life. It's part of football. We came back Monday and went to work and put it out of our head and, just trying to figure out how to get better, and then we had a great week. We was able to, beat Lee Summit West, and now we're getting ready for Joplin round 2, but the season's been great. We got a great group of guys. Our parents are awesome. Our school, our city, all that's been a blessing.
As you look down, having gone through this conference 2 years, what have been your impressions about the COC? And you've had opportunity there also to see, some of the basketball, some of the baseball. I mean, Nick's going to be loaded in other sports as well. They're a very good baseball conference. It's kind of what's been your impression? Was it as good or better than what you thought of it originally when you came up?
It's probably a little better than I thought. I don't know if I was not pessimistic at all, but just being from the South and coming from what was considered the toughest division in Mississippi high school football, I was not expecting it maybe to be as tough. But the flip side of that is it's really good football. If your goal is to win a 6A state championship, our conference can help you get there. When you go play Joplin, when you play Carthage, when you play Webb City, you're playing some of the best teams in the state. So when you get a team out of Kansas City or St. Louis, I don't care where you're from. Webb City will play with anybody. Carthage can play with anybody. These folks They're really good at football. They take it serious. They do it the right way. So I think the conference in general is great. And then, when you slip off into the other sports, I mean, there are some really good programs in our conference, whether it be baseball, boys, girls, basketball, soccer, whatever it is. It's a very well-rounded conference that, I think is really good, better than I expected.
And Coach, you mentioned, that week 2, last 2 months ago, that you lost 28-25 at Joplin. You lose Ramon Green in the first quarter. Outside of that, as you look at film, look at Joplin, what's different about the Joplin Eagles going into this game? And what's different about the Nixa Eagles as you head into this, week 11 game?
Well, what's the same is we still don't have Ramon right now. So that's the same. But what's different is we have, in the process of becoming a better football team, we evaluate the guys on our team every single day and try to figure out if there's somebody that needs to change positions or somebody that needs to move. We do have several guys that are in different positions. I think we are a better football team today than we were, that day. We had made a quarterback change that night, and it was the first game for him. I think we've grown as a football team. Now, I think they've grown as a football team too. I think you're supposed to be better in week 10 than you are week 2, and I think we're both better. I see a lot of similarities between the two teams. They've grown. They're more situated on what they are, on offense and on defense. I mean, they're 9-1. Like, they're not fixing to go out there and reinvent football. Like, they do what they do, and they do it really well, hence the reason why they've been as successful as they are. And, throughout the course of the season, they've probably not had as many position changes, as we've had, but they have continued to get better, and they are a solid football team, and it should be a really good football game.
Coaches, we wake up Saturday morning and Nixa Eagles have won this contest. What are one or two of the stats that we're going to look at, say, okay, this is where they won the game, whether it's yards, rushing, the turnover battle, special teams, tackles, time possession? What are one or two of those stats where if you win that stat, you're going to win this game?
I think, time of possession, I think will be important. I think we do have to establish a line of scrimmage. We do have to put together some 10 and 12 play drives. Last time we played them, they had 2 drives of 16 plays or more. When you go on a 16 or 17 play drive, number one, you're converting some third downs. Number 2, you're eating up some clock, which is not allowing the opponent to have the ball. I think we do have to control the football a little bit, and we got to try to get them off the field. We can't let them have 16 play drives. Like, I think they punted one time last time. Like, we've got to be able to, get some punts out of them, get some, possession changes that we didn't get last time. And I also think turnovers. I know that's cliche, but, the biggest determining factor in the outcome of games is turnovers, and I think we got to get a couple, which gives us a couple more possessions and not give up any to have a chance.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I wish you the best of luck here as you go forward here. It's a COC rematch of September the 3rd. So it'll be over 2 months that you'd play, but it was a great contest. You guys come back, get back in the game after losing Ramon, have an opportunity there to maybe get an onside kick, so it came down to the wire. It was not over until the clock went to zeros, and it's going to be an exciting contest, and best of luck.
Thank you for having me on, man. We're excited for the opportunity to get to go back over there and play.
You bet. Coach John Perry from Nixa Eagles, and we will step away and come back with some more right after this. Welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, alongside here, and presented to you by KICK 92.3 FM Springfield, Missouri, home of the Kansas City Royals. Central Bank of the Ozarks, Shelter Insurance Agent Grant Baker in Aurora. Bank of Billings, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Great Southern Bank, and Doe Propane all bring you this show today. We go down to Southwest Missouri to a very successful head football coach of McDonald County Mustangs. Coach Kellen Hoover and Coach, a tremendous season this year, 9-1. You set the record for the most wins there. Talk a little bit about this season and how that culture got changed there.
Yeah, it's been a special year. It's a special group of kids. Our seniors have kind of weathered some tough years, and it's been building for a while. You know, we've wanted to definitely take steps towards this every single year, and it hasn't been without obstacles. Obviously, we were 5-5 my first year, and then the next 2 years we won 3 and won 2, and so those were tough times. But these guys toughed it out. They learned a lot, and our seniors those years they took steps towards this. So really, everybody who's been in the program, even before I was here, has kind of built us towards this. So they've all got a say in where we've been and how far we've come. And you know, I appreciate those guys, but it is a special group. They're enjoying it, especially our seniors. You know, this is their last hurrah, and so they're trying to make the most of it and leave a legacy.
As you look back over this season, you guys are 9-1. You started off 2-0, then ran into Lamar. But since then, you've been unbeaten. Was there a point during the season where maybe you felt like you kind of turned the corner there a little bit, where they got used to winning and felt like, hey, we can win? You know, a lot of times when you've struggled as a program, you know, kids just almost expect to lose. Now they expect to win, I think.
Right. And, you know, that's another thing that's kind of been building as we've gone through the last couple of years, because a lot of our seniors started as sophomores, and that was a 2-win year, you know, and a lot of people say, you know, count the number of sophomores you have to start in the Big 8, and that's how many losses you're going to have. And that held true for us. And so, you know, then last year we had some tough games, battled COVID kind of like everybody else, as far as quarantines and games lost and games rescheduled and things like that. And so, you know, had to battle some adversity there, just like everybody else did. But I think our kids, you know, got tougher through that, as far as just having to kind of fight through some adversity, also playing in some big games, had a chance to play for a share of the Big 8 conference championship 2 different times, and didn't come out on the right end either time. But we were playing in those big games, and our kids learned a lot from that experience. And then, you know, this year, obviously Lamar didn't go how we wanted it to. That's a really good football team. And but then, you know, I think we learned from that. I think we were able to come back stronger from that. And we've just kind of plodded along all through the season, you know, and our kids have done a really good job just trying to be 1-0 at the end of the week. We haven't really looked ahead. We haven't really even looked behind us. You know, obviously we want to learn, and we watch the film on Mondays, and then we kind of turn the page, and it's like, learn from what happened. But at the same time, we're really not going to talk about what we've done. We're just going to try to go 1-0. And our kids have bought into that. They've done a really good job having really good weeks of practice and just focusing on the task at hand.
Again, visiting with McDonald County Mustangs head football coach Kellen Hoover. And Coach, as you look here in week 10 going into week 11, what are some things you really feel like you're doing well right now? And what are some things maybe that you feel like you maybe need to kind of touch up a little bit as you go into the semifinals of districts?
Yeah, I feel like we're playing pretty physical football right now. And you know, especially in our conference, and really football down in Southwest Missouri and you know, just kind of all over the state of Missouri, the most physical team usually wins on Friday. You know, obviously some other things go into it, but the most physical team usually going to walk off the field with a win. And I feel like that's something we've kind of hung our hat on the last few weeks. We've kind of turned a corner there. We've had to kind of mix some guys in as far as our offensive line goes, just with some injuries and things like that. And I feel like they've kind of gelled a lot, especially over the last 2-3 weeks, and they're playing really well up front right now. And then, you know, with that, there's a lot of little things we need to clean up, whether it's the breaks of our routes, whether it's just our rules and steps up front, and then just cleaning up our eye discipline defensively. You know, there's just a lot of little things that we need to focus on right now, but it's nice to be focusing on little things right now. But at the same time, if you don't do them, they can turn into big things on the scoreboard in a hurry.
You bet. What's the atmosphere down there? You know, you go back-to-back weeks. You shut out Cassville 20-0. Now you shut out Monette 35-0. It's got to be an exciting atmosphere there at McDonald County.
It is. Our defense is playing really well right now. You throw up a couple goose eggs in a row, you get pretty excited about that. And they're playing really well right now. They're playing with a lot of confidence right now. And we just understand how hard that really is. And so when we're able to walk off the field with that, we're pretty excited about it, and we want to continue that. We obviously want to walk into this next week, and that's always the goal. And so we're going to try to put together a really good plan, and we're going to try to execute that the best we can. But it's exciting. It's an exciting time. The kids are excited. The school community, everybody's pretty excited about what's going on right now. And we get a ton of support from them. And, our kids definitely appreciate it and feel it. And it's a really fun time to be in McDonald County right now.
Hey, you bet. One of my longtime friends, Scott Purrier, is an alumni there at McDonald County, and he'll send me a text every now and then. And of course, he and Ned Reynolds, they do the shows together on another station. But he's been pumped up all year long. And Coach, tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been in McDonald County? You kind of alluded to it a little bit there. And where'd you go to high school, and how'd you arrive at McDonald County?
So this is my 5th year here, and it's been awesome from the beginning. It's been great. I spent 5 great years at Monette under Coach DePay, and then Coach Ewell, and then a lot of great coaches coached with while I was there. Really enjoyed my time there, but then it was kind of funny. I was actually talking to another coach. McDonald County was open at the time, and I obviously knew of McDonald County and knew that, every single year they had some size and some talent really all the time. And it was always a game you walked into while I was at Monette that you're just like, man, they're going to fight, it's going to be a battle, and tough kids over there. And so I was just kind of telling that to another coach, and I was like, hey, it's open, and you could work in Northwest Arkansas. You could live in Northwest Arkansas. And my wife was actually in the other room, and she was like, she kind of poked her head in and was like, wait a minute, what? It's that close? And because, she's originally not from the area. And I was like, well, yeah. And so applied and, was fortunate enough to get the job. And it's been great since, really great assistant coaches here, which make my job so much easier. Great kids that buy in to anything you're preaching. And, they've done so well. They've done such a great job, and can't give them enough credit. And then the support here's, like I said, been so great. And then before all that, went to high school at El Dorado Springs, and then went to college at Missouri Southern and played baseball. And then got that job out of college working at Monette for Coach DePay. And so it's been awesome. I've been under a lot of really great people, worked with a lot of really great people, and learned a lot from them. And I can't give enough credit to those guys, and enough credit to my coaching staff here and our kids here, because they've been so great.
As you head into excuse me, the semifinal week of the districts, you've got maybe the upset of the week. Last week, you've got a Hillcrest team that surprised Carl Junction. What do you know about the Hornets? And obviously you've had some time to watch them on film. And what are they doing well right now to get that big win, 24-14 over a good CJ team?
They're flying around, especially defensively. They've got some pieces that can really hurt you offensively. They've got some speed. They've got a tall receiver out there that they don't mind going down the field to. They've got a couple slot receivers that when they get it, it's tough to tackle them. And so, and with that, they've also got some size up front that can cause some problems in the run game. So it's a team that's got size, speed, athleticism. It's a team that's definitely dangerous and playing with a lot of confidence. You can see it over the last few weeks. Their scores have started to shift a little bit, maybe from early in the year. They're definitely playing their best football right now. They're playing with the most confidence they've probably played with all year. And then on Friday, that, like I said, they were flying around. They turned Carl Junction over several times, had a lot of takeaways, and that comes from playing as hard as they do. They play really hard on both sides of the ball. But on the defensive side, that definitely leads to a lot of turnovers. They've got a lot of people around the ball. That leads to, fumbles. That leads to deflections, which can lead to interceptions. And that's what we saw from the Carl Junction film. And so, that's definitely something that we've got to game plan for. We've got to keep our eye on, and we've got to definitely take that into account as we game plan and execute that game plan on Friday.
All right, you going into this? Are you guys relatively healthy? I know it's week 11, so there's going to be bumps and bruises.
We've had a couple guys that got injured early in the year, and doesn't look like we're going to get a couple of those guys back. But all things considered, we're pretty healthy, especially with where we've been over the last couple of weeks. It's not like we've got anything necessarily new, so it's things that we've been able to practice with new guys in those spots. And so, all things considered, being week 11, we're fairly healthy.
Outstanding. Well, Coach, I really appreciate, I know you're in the classroom, and I appreciate your few minutes here, but best of luck on Friday, and maybe we'll get an opportunity to visit again next week.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be great. And thank you for having me on here. This has been great, and really appreciate you guys.
Hey, you bet. McDonald County Mustang head football coach, Kellen Hoover, and we will step away and be back after these messages.
Hey, welcome back to the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Grant Baker Shelter Insurance Agent in Aurora, Missouri. Laborers Local 663, the Bank of Billings, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, and Great Southern Bank. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Going to go to Fairgrove and check in with head coach Bill Voris. And, Coach, what's it like to be 10-0 at this time?
I mean, we feel really lucky. We've had some injuries, some kids out. We play the first part of our first several weeks of our schedule were really tough. And so it's just – I mean, our kids have kept grinding. We got a huge senior class, so I'm really happy for those kids.
Yeah, you go back to those first 3 games. You got Mountain Grove, Mountain View Liberty, and then a very good Skyline team who's going to probably make a little run here as well.
Yeah, we knew at the beginning of the year was the first 3 games especially were going to be really telling and tough, and we need to play a tougher schedule to hopefully prepare us for later in this time of year. So it was nice to come out of that. I mean, it could have gone either way. Those are 3 really good teams.
You got Clever last week, 48-0. Come out of that game. Now you've going back to my old stomping grounds, and to an extent, your old stomping grounds as the Mountaineers will make their way up to Fairgrove. What do you know about Mount Vernon?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw the districts came out that first week of the season, I thought, man, I really hope we get a chance to play these guys. And now I may not hope. I mean, they might be the most dangerous 1-9 team in the entire state. Like, it's scary. They play physical football all year long. They're really young. And then at this point of the year, being young doesn't really matter. Like, those kids have got plenty of experience. There's lots of guys over there that I coached with and got to coach for. So I'm really excited. I was talking to Chris Johnston, their DC. I think he said this might be the first time Fairgrove has ever played Mount Vernon, ever. So,
yeah, I can imagine that. I would imagine that's true. And, Chris Johnson grew up in my backyard. He was several years younger than me, kind of between my little brother and I. But, just lots of folks there. And I know you spent some time on that staff. I mean, Joey Mayberry's still around. I can't believe Coach Cox is still around, but they do a tremendous job over there, and playing that Big 8 schedule, it probably helps them out. They come this time of year. So definitely a team you got to pay attention to come Friday night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to tell our kids that you can't look at their record. Their coaches are some of the best coaches we're going to have a chance to go against. They play a really tough schedule. If they played our schedule, they'd have several wins. That's not a reflection on their coaching staff or their kids. They just play a really tough schedule. And that's good. We need to have a football game. We've had some programs that have been down the last 3 weeks, and so we need to play a competitive football game this Friday.
As you look at this going into it, what are some of the stats that are going to dictate the outcome at the final score, whether it be turnovers, time possession, yards on the ground? What are some things looking at their game film and knowing your own Eagles team? What are some things that you're going to have to win?
Yes. I mean, they for us all year, it's been about not turning it over. I mean, our quarterback has 30 touchdowns on the year and only 2 picks, and he has 13 rushing touchdowns and 1 fumble. Like we've done a really good job of taking care of the football, and so hopefully, I mean, that's what's going to have to be. If we take care of the football, we'll give ourselves a chance. If we turn it over and give them extra opportunities, it could be a long night. And same thing goes on the other side. Like I know that Chris's kid is probably going to start at quarterback for him this week. He's a freshman. We get him turned over a little bit. They've got a freshman running back who was all conference, who's really, really good. If we can turn those kids over a little bit, we might be able to take hold of it early. But if not, it's going to be a dogfight.
What are you guys working on between now and Friday night with this interview's taking place here? And once again, we're visiting with Bill Vorst, the head football coach at Fair Grove. What are you doing between now and then to kind of get ready?
Well, the last 3 teams we faced have been a different style of offense with double tight, double wing, option, power football, and Mount Vernon has a few power sets, but they're going to be like us. They're going to be shotgun 4 and 5 wide. So just kind of flipping the script a little bit, getting back into that. It'll be good for us practice-wise because we'll be able to simulate it a whole lot better than we have the last couple of weeks. And so just getting back into that mindset of having to have pass responsibility and taking care of all that.
As you look at your team right now, are you relatively healthy going into this game? I know it's week 11, so it's going to be bumps and bruises just from playing the game of football. But outside of that, are you healthy?
Yeah, I mean we're relatively healthy. We're still missing a few kids that we probably won't have this Friday either, but hopefully we can get them back. If we're able to win, hopefully we can get them back the next Friday. That's kind of the goal. So, but like you said, everybody's dinged up right now. But for the most part, yeah, we're pretty healthy.
Well, outstanding. Well, Coach Forrest, as always, I really appreciate you being generous with your time here, and best of luck. And I can say I'm a Mountaineer. I grew up that way, but hey, best of luck. I just want to see a good game. But you guys are the 2 seed, and this opportunity here for you guys to make a run. So I wish you the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, you bet. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network here at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Keep it right here at MSN.
This has been a presentation of the Missouri Sports Network. Thank you for tuning in.